live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night, May 7th, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Glad you're in. Real America's Voice, and of course streaming on all of our LFS6B social medias, Kick, YouTube, X, Facebook, Rumble. Of course, streaming on Real America's Voice at Real AM Voice on Getter as well. Welcome on in, everybody. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the heart, hit the share. Let's get the stream out there. Slick Rick's going to do some sports. Slickster, how are you?
I'm doing good tonight, Big D.
Very good. Mr. Delgado is going to do the news. David Zier will join us, I think, hour 2. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good. Very good. Better than you.
Well, anybody's doing better than me because I was basically in traction today almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost backed out tonight, I heard.
If I had my setup at the home studio tonight, I don't know. I told Aaron if I stand up, just take me off screen because I just can't. I threw my back out. If there's something worse than a bad back, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is.
No, that's the core. It's just
paralyzes
worst.
You. And of course, I went to see our friend, you know who. Today.
Yeah, of course. Our
the great Dr. Gary.
Yes.
Finest chiropractor around. And he says, "Well, what did you do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. I got out of the car."
Mine was more embarrassing.
Would you slip on a banana peel?
No. Oh, it was like, what happened? I was like, well, I sat on the toilet.
Oh, jeez.
I went to get up. And
was this after Cinco de Mayo dinner?
No,
makes sense.
Actually, it was a week ago, and I've been struggling with it for over a week.
The toilet or walking?
Well, both.
It runs in the family.
And it's not the only thing that runs.
It's like, don't make me laugh. I'm begging you.
So, and I told him, I said it was just a chance of me being lazy. I didn't have to sit. I was like, it was in the morning. I was like, I'm not going to stand here. I'm going to sit and relax because I just got up. I'm still tired. As soon as I get up, boom, can't walk. I'm like hunched over. I'm like, what the heck did I just do?
I dropped the kids at school.
I hate that.
6:50.
See, you were in the bathroom too.
No, drove home, drove up the driveway, swung the door open to the old Silverado there, swung my legs out to get on, and I mean, just
you make yourself sound like a cowboy.
Well,
I had my hat on.
No, I didn't have my hat on, but man, it's just I almost fell down.
Oof.
Crunched up so bad, iced it like 90 times before. Dr. Gary said, "Come on down," and it's just brutal.
Yeah, well, we have doctors in the chat, by the way. J2MICU from the Getter chat says, Damon, the 8-hour car drive to Pennsylvania, that might have did it.
I could have done it.
You know, that the 4 hours there and 4 hours back probably did not help.
J2 McCoon.
Now, Dr. Gary says it's not something, obviously, like all the time, it's not something you just did today. It's buildup of probably months of stuff you didn't know was going on or whatever, and then one thing sets it off, and just the
it's just the little tiniest thing.
A little bit, clamps down, and it's just brutal.
Yeah, I'm sure if you'd have fallen down in your driveway there, your garden gnomes probably would have run over to you like Gulliver and tried to tie you down.
I mean, I'd still be there until the kids got home from school or whatever.
That reminds me.
Really?
Of falling down on your driveway. Remember that story I told a couple weeks ago? My neighbor fell down in a driveway?
Yeah.
She called me yesterday.
Really?
To thank me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
No. I don't think she knows how to work technology.
Yeah.
No, she called me yesterday to thank me.
According to the governor of New York, no black kids do either. Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yes. She's quite the racist.
Yeah.
No, she called me to thank me. Now this woman, a lovely lady, is about 90 years old. And again, me and Connor helped her back into her house, got her into her house, got her a cane, sat her down, tried to make sure she had everything she needed to call her family, let them know what happened. I find out later she had no idea how she even got back in her house, and she didn't know that we had helped her.
Wow.
So then when she called me yesterday, she's like, I got to thank you for helping me, but I don't remember it happening. And turns out she had ended up hitting her head, and she didn't realize it, and we didn't realize it. So.
Wow,
kind of a wacky little blackout thing.
Because a good deed by you and Connor, and
very good deed.
I would have needed someone to give me a good deed if I had fallen today.
Well, we would have needed a wrecker to get you up.
Yeah, absolutely, because I was not going to. Just brutal. But I'm going to try to sit here, and I'm going to get up during the breaks or whatever. So Well, last night's show seemed like almost like we knew what was going on. When you look at what did we speak last night about the judge in Florida?
Yeah.
We spoke about her quite a bit last night, and the
Big
fact
story.
that she's under tremendous pressure. The left's attacking her. She's under attack everywhere you look. And we said she's just not going to deal with any of this nonsense. And then we played that. I forgot who the clip was who said, I think she's making a point here of making sure that all of this stuff gets out in the public so they can see exactly what Jack Smith's been trying to do behind closed doors, what he's been trying to get away with, what they've been trying to get away with, the White House, him, the DOJ, NARA, all of them working in unison to take down their political opponent. And they ran into the one judge here of the four that they've got in their pockets. They've only got three of them. One of them has decided that she's not going to play ball, and she's actually going to do her job. And, of course, the left is going to scream that she's in the tank for Trump, which is just stupid. That's what you say when you have no other argument to make. And here you go today. To that point, she has indefinitely postponed Donald Trump's trial in Florida.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my big stories, along with the trial that's going on in New York. Judge Eileen Cannon here, this from Town Hall, issued an order this afternoon setting a second set of pretrial deadlines and hearings in the case dealing with former President Donald Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. Perhaps most notably, indefinitely postponed the start for a trial. The second set of deadlines to manage pending discovery and disclosure matters, adjudicate pretrial motions before the court, and advance through additional stages of the Classified Information Procedures Act set by Judge Cannon on Tuesday ranged from a May 8th hearing on a grand jury matter to a supplemental CIPA hearing on July 22nd. According to the judge, the court determined that finalization of a trial date at this juncture before resolution of a myriad of interconnected pretrial and CIPA issues remaining and forthcoming would be imprudent and inconsistent with the court's duty to fully and fairly consider the various pending pretrial motions before the court, critical CPIA issues, and additional pretrial and trial preparations necessary to present this case to a jury, Your Honor. So that's coming from the court. That's coming from the judge, Eileen Cannon, down in Florida. So far, you know what? That's all around. It's turning into a very good day. Another good day in court for Donald Trump, if you're paying attention to what was happening in New York as well.
Well, we'll get to that. What the judge did today, and what the prosecutor's office did today, and it's quite amusing that the judge, this lunatic leftist, who has every reason to be recused, not even beyond this deal with his daughter, and we know the whole thing. He scolds prosecutors today after he allows them to do what he scolded them for. It's like, wait, what? And I heard Will Scharf on with, I think, Martha McCall. He is so good. If you remember, I was on to him pretty early when he announced his candidacy to run for, I think, Attorney General in Missouri. And a couple things, he had put out a couple articles and a couple tweets that were like the descriptions of some of these cases early on as they were brought against a former president. And I thought, man, this guy is just so smart, right on the money. Well, he has continued to be. And if you remember, when he was put on Trump's team, I said that's the best move they've made legally as far as representation in a long time. And, I'm not sure what he's doing in the courtroom because, obviously, David Zier was there again today, I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in the second hour to give us a rundown.
But just as the public voice on these shows, he is so good in explaining what's going on. And I heard him on with Martha today, and he said that what the prosecutor's office in New York and what the judge allowed, even though the judge tried to act like he was, acted like he was, he said the judge put down fairly tight guardrails before today's day happened. And he said the prosecution rolled those guardrails up and threw them over the side of the road and just ran them over and backed back over them again to the point where Will Scharf's calling for a mistrial. And he said the judge should have granted the mistrial today when they requested it, and I guess he did not. But Andy McCarthy has a piece today, and he says the judge scolds prosecutors for doing what he allowed them to do. He said today was nothing more than for the purpose of humiliating the Democrats and the left's political nemesis and their opponent in the 2024 presidential election. The progressive Democratic District Attorney Alvin Bragg proffered Stormy Daniels' sensational story of a sexual encounter with Donald Trump in the unprecedented, media-saturated first-ever trial against a former U.S. president. Trump's lawyers objected to the testimony, which I have previously contended here about 5 times, is not relevant to the business records falsification charges in this case. In particularly, Team Trump strenuously objected to graphic details of the sexual encounter that Daniels claims she had with Trump in 2006. Now, if I remember, didn't she sign off on 2 letters saying that it didn't happen?
Yeah, there are two actual letters that she signed to say this did not happen. But there she is in court under oath giving you details of something that did not happen.
And she's been ordered to pay Trump like $500,000, which she just says she's going to defy the order, not going to do it.
Right.
So this is not exactly, if you had to draw up your A-star witnesses for the prosecution, it would not be a porn star and then another, in essence, porn star in Michael Cohen, basically.
Right.
Two porn stars.
Well, you got Stormy Daniels, who's the porn star, and is in serious debt to Donald Trump, which includes, I guess, her trying to put together a book and some kind of a documentary thing where the money is, I guess the people that are putting it together say, no, the money's going to Trump. We know this, but she needs to raise money. That's why they're doing it. And then, of course, you mentioned the 2 letters that, she signed. And then you've got her former attorney who's in jail, who keeps calling into CNN or whoever will talk to him to say, hey, by the way, she's lying.
He put out a big statement tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put out another big statement tonight on his, you should pull it up on his X.
I'm looking for it right now.
So just to finish this before we hit the break, he says, so the judge overrules Trump's counsel on whether the salacious stuff can go forward. Then, quite remarkably, after allowing the jury, which people say, the judge can now give a direction to the jury. Forget that. It's out of the box.
Right.
To hear the salacious testimony, a minute-by-minute account of this alleged tryst, the judge had the jury leave the courtroom and then proceeded to dress down the prosecutors for doing exactly what he allowed them to do. So, we'll finish this in a second, but just sounds like more nonsense to me. The judge is going to act like the good guy afterwards, knowing that he's already poisoned the whole deal. What?
I said I knew your audience was going to think that. I wore this suit is very similar to the suit I wore last night, and they were asking me, "Slick Rick, did you not go home last night? This looks like the same suit." If you think on God's green earth that I'd wear the same suit in a month, you're crazy. Much less in a day. Get out of here. It's a good rumor, though. I liked it. I knew they were going to think that. Last night was the houndstooth, different pink.
Oh, it was the houndstooth?
I don't even wear the same shoes in a month, rarely. But yeah.
So now what is this?
This is more of a plaid, Rick. This is more wasn't this Fashion Week? I think it was just Fashion Week just passed.
You should have been at the Met Gala last night.
That's what somebody told me last night. Somebody actually told me I should have been there.
Did Pat Cooper die? Yeah, Pat Cooper died 93.
Oh, wow. Well, 93. Not a bad agency.
That's a good run. I'd sign up for it right now.
Yeah, and then when you're 93,
I'd sign
you're
up
like,
for 53 the way my back feels.
He died last June.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, why didn't it
It's a
just come
one-year
up?
anniversary?
I just saw it now.
Except it's not June.
Nobody told him. He was still walking around, kind of like Joe Biden.
Oh, last June, 93.
What made you think that? Would you see something in your feed?
No, somebody just sent it to me.
Well.
Damon Waterwoman on
They
the
were on
Rumbler,
delay.
on the Rumblers says, try taking Charlie Kirk's Relief Factor. My husband had 5 bulging discs and he was in constant pain. He also had pain in his Achilles and often uses a cane. He used Relief Factor and 2W later, and that's all.
Somebody said acupuncture is really good, but you get needled enough on the show. But somebody did say acupuncture is actually pretty good in the chat.
Really?
I've done the acupuncture. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. That's basically what he's saying. All right, let's go into the...
Did you get extra noodles with that?
go into the chat.
Oh, man.
Now, is it Charlie Kirk's Relief Factor, or is it who's the other guy?
What is it with this?
Everybody's pushing that.
What is wrong with this rushy rice on the
Relief
Chiefs?
Factor.
Guys are nut.
Who's the Indian guy? What's his name?
Laura Barrow says
Oh, no.
prednisone. That's a steroid, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to help my disc.
My dad just had lumbar injections last week for his back problems.
Oof.
My back has felt great for
A while.
a long time.
Yeah, maybe a
honestly.
year now.
This has been my 40th birthday was the worst back pain I ever had. I was on the floor.
You bet.
This is the worst since that day. Live from Studio 6B, 17 past the hour. I want to thank everybody in all the chats on all the social media, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, Kick, Getter, Real America's Voice on Getter. A lot of feedback coming in. America's Choice says, man, what a whiner Damon is. Yeah, hello, this is your first day watching the show?
Yeah.
Big D, you need some steroids and value. Moon Pie, I like that. I like that.
Let's see. In the
Damon is not pregnant. No prednisone. Okay.
I think BWAG over on the Rumblers says CBD. I swear by it.
Oh.
Also,
okay.
red light therapy does wonders.
I've heard a lot about that red light therapy. It's
Have
good
you?
for a lot of different health things. Yeah.
I did an ice bath the other
Is that the laser?
Damon needs a good surgeon.
It's like a laser.
Damon needs to stop complaining. That's fine. Well, I mean, I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Could be
complaining about it, but you're here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm complaining about it, but I'm here.
Broke back better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
Damon's losing oxygen being up so high.
Did you jump in the hot tub maybe to see if a little?
No, he said
heat
no
therapy?
heat. No, Dr. Gary
Well,
said
cold.
only cold.
So
Oh, man,
jump in a
come
cold
on.
bath. I did a cold bath the other day.
For a myriad of reasons.
Exactly.
All right, let's get out of here. Stop complaining about my back. Well, Beth
Yeah,
says she
please.
loves when
Yeah.
Damon complains. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Beth.
Welcome back.
There you go. So, all right, let's do some sports.
Yes.
Sick of sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell.
You in the country.
Mike Lindell and My Pillow. Use our code LFS6B when you shop at My Pillow. Me and Aaron are trying to figure out how to get these gift cards out to people. We're going to get all the addresses and names of the 10 winners that we selected. Looks like we can do, Aaron says we can do e-gift cards.
Ooh, nice.
So we're just going to get the emails and right to your email. Boom. And then you can use it how you want it. So
That's the way to roll.
there you go. All right, let's do some sports. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, we got playoff action tonight. This is Playoff Central. We got the games on here. I'm keeping my eye on it, watching the show, of course. And here we go. We're going to go to the TD Garden up in Boston. Celtics, who are probably odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship this year, at least in my book. They lead the Cavaliers 59-49 at the half. This is the Eastern Conference semifinals, game 1. Mavs and Thunder, that would be the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Oklahoma Thunder. That's going to be a 9:30 p.m. tip-off. That'll be in Oklahoma City. Game 1 as well. That's going to be a fantastic series. I think that one's going to go 7. And we got the NHL action. So from one garden in TD up in Boston to another, we're going to go to the MAGA Square Garden. You see what I did there? Madison Square Garden. The Rangers right now hosting the Hurricanes in Game 2. Rangers leading the series 1-0, but losing the game. They're losing 2-1 with 15:46 to go in the second period. The second period is a good period for the Rangers, so I expect them to bounce back. Yeah, it's early. You don't have to worry. And that's also East second round, so good stuff there. And the Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. I like how Dallas is playing. Won a big Game 7 over Las Vegas the other night. Saw that, and, well, here they go. They're taking on the Avs. That game will start at 9:30, puck drop, and it'll be in Dallas, American Airlines Arena. That's an old arena, man. I remember being there a few times. And let's go to Major League Baseball. We get a couple of quick scores. We got the Tigers over the Guardians, 9-7, bottom of the 7. Diamondbacks lead my Cincinnati Reds. We'll slip sliding away, 2-0, top of the 7th. Top of the 6th, we have the Phillies blanking the Blue Jays, 8-0 in Philly. Nationals 1-0 over the Orioles. That's in the top of the 7th. Bottom of the 6th, Rays blanking the White Sox, 5-0. Angels blanking the Pirates, 5-0, bottom 5th. And the Yankees are up 4-1, Rick, against the Astros. That's their favorite team to play, by the way. 4-1, middle of the 4th inning. Braves over the Red Sox, 2-0. Brewers, who are hot as can be, are up 2-0 over the Kansas City Royals. That's at the end of 3. And, well, we got time for a quick story. Sure, we do. We got to, well, this is really becoming some situation. Court order in Rashee Rice case focus on guns, phone records, and cars. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. A restraining order issued by the judge presiding over one of 2 lawsuits involving Chiefs wide receiver and Super Bowl champion, I might add. Rashee Rice has ordered Rice not to destroy any phone records, receipts, or credit cards used in the 6 hours preceding the multi-car collision he was involved in. On March 30th, Rice and a high-performance sports car he owns were involved in a streetcar race on a Dallas area freeway that resulted in a major accident with injuries. After the accident, Rice was seen leaving the scene with at least 3 other men. Authorities claim he left without checking on the status of the other drivers and passengers in the vehicle involved or providing his information, which that's a no-no. And when you do that in an accident. Former SMU wide receiver Theodore Knox and a man named Charles Bush Jr. were also involved in the incident, were also ordered not to destroy records. In addition, the judge ordered Rice, Knox, and Bush Jr. from altering or destroying any firearms that may have been on either the Corvette or the Lamborghini, and also the license plates of each car. This is from KCTV Channel 5 down there in good old Dallas. So Big D, Rashee Rice, big receiver for the team, in a lot of trouble. So we'll see what goes on with that, man. It's a negligence suit that's filed by Kamlesh Desai of Dallas County. He's seeking more than $1 million, which isn't a lot of money for a Rashee Rice type of wide receiver there. But, wow, we'll see how that develops. And that's a wrap in sports for now, Big D. I'll have some more updates later, a little bit of rodeo, and we got a couple of other good stories as well as Speaker of the House with the Indianapolis 500 trophy and ignoring his other duties. I got a story about that today.
Speaker of the House?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Your favorite guy, Mr. Johnson there.
Yeah, well, no, not my favorite guy.
No, I know he's not.
My favorite guy.
I know. That's sarcastic. I say that.
Since this all started to go down.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was the one who said we'll look back in 6 months and there's a very good chance we could think we're in a worse position than we are now.
Yeah.
If I remember. I think that's exactly my quote. And I caught all kind of hell about it.
Yeah, we thought he was a good old guy there from Louisiana.
And guess what position we're in now, 6 months later? Worse. Well, 9 months, whatever the hell it is.
It's kind of what happened in New York State when we wished Cuomo would go away, right?
It's kind of interesting that I got a clip of Cuomo today, by the way.
Oh.
He's very comfortable all of a sudden now, a year or 2 removed, talking about COVID-19 stuff, that he didn't sound this way back when he was the governor.
That's
really
surprising.
It's interesting how now all of a sudden now they're comfortable talking about, what powers they had, what powers they really didn't have.
Oh, wow.
Because he didn't, all those daily briefings, I didn't hear anything like, well, I can't really enforce this, but I'm asking. No, I didn't hear that. I don't remember that.
Well, He made some really bad decisions. Whew.
But getting back to the speaker for a second, because I noticed MTG, so obviously she's got a lot of support from Thomas Massey to call this vacate of the chair, but not a lot of support anywhere else. And she has no support, obviously, from the other side. They're circling the wagons to help save Johnson if this motion to vacate was to come forward. And then I see MTG saying, well, she's going to maybe not bring it forward the other day. And I saw a tweet from Matt Gaetz And I thought him tweeting about it was interesting because unless he can effectively make the decision, make the argument that Mike Johnson has somehow been better than McCarthy, it's interesting that he says the McCarthy thing was not personal. It was not about the ethics review. Nothing to do personal with McCarthy. It's just that he's been a terrible speaker. And yet Mike Johnson motioned to vacate. Matt Gaetz tweets the other day about how, well, all right, it's okay if MTG doesn't want to bring the motion to vacate. Maybe the threat of bringing it will be enough for Mike Johnson to turn it around and be a better speaker or something to that effect. And I'm just wondering, if it wasn't personal, then what's the difference that you wouldn't want to vacate a chair that's hard to argue has been any better than the last guy? I think it's easier to argue that he's been way worse. But yet, with this guy, he seems to be okay with just a veiled threat of removing him. And if we don't remove him, well, maybe he'll just get better. But McCarthy had to go, which started this whole ball of going from a 6-seat majority or 8, whatever it was, down to a 1-seat majority and all the chaos that's been throughout. So any explanation why he's cutting so much slack for Johnson?
Not a clue.
I don't know.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some news with Rick Delgado. David Zier is going to join us in hour 2. Tell us about what he saw today. Back right after this.
Third. Live between the break. What defense? Exactly. They're just going to play with them. This is going to be probably 5. They'll give them a token win.
Well, remember Cleveland was down.
Yeah, they came back.
What, 18 or even more to Orlando?
Yeah.
In that game?
They came back and won by, what, 11?
I could not believe when I turned on
Oh, my God.
Minnesota. I said,
And they just fined
it was like 58-32, something like that.
They just fined Jamal Murray $100,000 for throwing that stuff on the court.
Yes.
Glenn Beck once had to do a show literally flat on his back. Yeah, I was wondering if I could do the show standing tonight, but there's just no way.
No.
He one of those standing desks that rises ball, you know?
Oh, yeah. I'm out.
Yeah, it's interesting that Gaetz is willing to cut this guy so much slack. Why? Is it? Can you argue that he's been better?
No.
I mean, he's unequivocally been worse.
Rangers have
I
tied
wouldn't
it
say
up.
worse. I'd say just as bad.
I'd say worse.
Basically, the same guy.
Bringing things
Different
up on
face.
suspension of the rules to pass these budget bills, how's that not worse?
Rangers have tied it up, Big D.
There you go.
Tied 2-2.
Is this like 94? The Knicks are playing for a championship. The Rangers are playing. This
right.
This could be a repeat. 30 years later.
It could be. Kind of like that Cinco de Mayo food. They a repeat.
Guard knocking every time there's a game.
Yeah.
Do
MAGA
you get
Square
yourself
Garden.
some steroids and Valium? That's just gonna. I don't know, what's that gonna do?
Over in Rumble, someone says you need an inversion bed. You can do the show upside down like a bat.
I've got one of those.
I asked Dr. Gary about the inversion bed. He said it's not going to help this problem. I'm not looking to make more space. Damon, you need a good chiropractor, a regular massage, and good weed. I've got the first one figured out. Regular massage and good weed. I guess I have to talk to Delgado about that.
What?
So,
I'm not giving you a massage.
Actually, my massage
not about
therapist.
the massage.
Big
By the way, speaking of weed, I brought my weed torch. It's still in the car. You want me to get it?
yeah,
I will.
go get it.
All right, the second?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring it in.
My massage therapist is
me to
actually
do-
watching the show right now, giving me advice, and she told me I've been on a red light mat before myself. Didn't even realize it, but yeah,
Really?
Amy, my massage therapist here on Long Island, she
They,
does a great job. Phenomenal.
Gary Brecka talks about red light therapy a lot.
Yep, I didn't even realize. See, I saw the light and I didn't even know it.
All right, very good. 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. David Zier's going to join us, I believe, at 9 o'clock. Talk about, I think he was at the Trump trial again today. What a day to be there if he was, to hear all this salacious. I'm not buying this. Getting back to that, by the way, because I was saying it right at the end of the segment. I'm not buying the whole judge putting the jury away and then tearing, seems like an act.
Right.
Like, I'll be the bad guy. You guys do your thing. I'll let it go. Then I'll act like I'm really pissed off.
Yeah.
But we'll have already gotten it out there, poisoned the jury, embarrassed this guy, which is all they want to do.
Well, that's like with the media. They don't care if the story's accurate. They just want the headline. So if he can get it in front of the jury and then say, oh, you're going to disregard what they just heard. How can you disregard? They already heard it. It's
Right,
too
you
late.
can't.
It's going to influence them whether you think so or not. So.
Yeah, I think it's all a big con job this whole day today with the judge saying how mad he is at the prosecution. I'm not buying it at all.
Meanwhile, he's imposing. I guess they're not getting any time to prepare for surprise witnesses and such. Is that something else that came out today too?
I don't know.
Like gave him like 1 day. It's like they asked for 3 more weeks. Meanwhile, their star witness just went. What do you need 3 more weeks for? To keep him off the campaign trail. That's probably why. And you asked about the Michael Avenatti releasing a statement today. Well, here's a statement from his Twitter X file from Michael Avenatti's post. It says, here's my statement regarding the testimony of Stormy Daniels. Will D.A. Bragg pursue charges against her for falsification of business records and fraud, he asks. Statement from Avenatti says, last June I was contacted by producer Sarah Gibson, who requested that I assist with a documentary about about my former client, Stormy Daniels. I had fired Daniels as a client in February of 19. On June of 25th, 2023, I spoke with Gibson by phone on a recorded line and asked her a number of questions so I could be sure to determine whether I would agree to participate. I was particularly interested in knowing whether the project was going to be legitimate and fair or instead a puff piece designed to put Daniels in favorable light. While ignoring facts and trashing me and Donald Trump, I wanted nothing to do with the project if it was the latter. First question to Gibson when we spoke was whether Daniels was being paid for the documentary. I asked this question because if she was being paid, it would be a clear indication that the project lacked integrity. And he would know, believe me. Would be one-sided and controlled by Daniels. Ms. Gibson told me that Daniels was being paid for the documentary, but that was because she owed Trump hundreds of thousands of dollars from a judgment Trump was trying to collect from Daniels. Daniels, Gibson, and others had come up with a plan to allow Daniels to be secretly paid while at the same time keeping the payments from Trump and his attorneys. At what point do we see Michael Avenatti walked into court in his orange jumper and shackles and seated in the witness chair? Because this could be material stuff for this case. Among other things,
nobody has their bingo card ready for the rest of this year. I don't think anyone could have had any of this on their bingo card.
Yeah. Among other things, she told me that they had fictionally optioned the rights to Daniels' book and then routed the money to Daniels demanded through a fabricated trust that had been set up in the name of Daniels' daughter, all to hide the money from Trump and avoid paying the judgment. Man, oh man. To say I was shocked when I was told this was an understatement. A woman I had never met and spoken to was admitting to me on a recorded line that Daniels, she, and others had engaged in multiple overt criminal acts, state and federal, including falsification of business records, wire fraud, fraudulent transfer, all in an effort to defraud Trump and avoid paying him what he was legally owed. Due to the fraud, I declined to participate in the documentary. It was Miss Gibson. If what Miss Gibson told me on the recorded line is true, there's every reason to believe it is. How can D.A. Bragg possibly rely on the testimony of Daniels, who is herself guilty of fraud and recently falsifying business records to cover up a crime? Man, oh man. So that's pretty interesting. I'm sure if it's because he was speaking from jail, and we know that any calls to a prison are on recorded lines. So I'm sure that recorded conversation does exist. So it'd be interesting if
I mean, the issue with him is he's on par with every other witness in this sleazeball case.
True.
He has no credibility either because he's a sleazeball.
Right. And of course he's thinking down the road, hey, how can this benefit me if I can get myself in the middle of it?
But just again to Andy McCarthy's piece today, and the point of it is that this, and then why I say I don't buy this whole judge's thing that he takes the jury out, dresses them down, and then says, I think the degree here of detail that we're going into is really unnecessary. This is what he says to Bragg's thug assistants. And McCarthy makes the piece of saying, well, yeah, duh. And your job as the judge is to make sure that inadmissible or stuff like this doesn't get said in front of the jury. That's right. Your job. That's the point. So to allow this whole day of porn to go on and then say, oh, okay, the jury, I need you to leave. And then say, hey, guys, don't you think this is going a little too far? when the judge's whole deal is to forbid the introduction of evidence that's, just exactly what they did all day today. And we're supposed to believe, the judge is really fed up now. He may, he's not going to do anything. They executed exactly what they wanted to do today.
Yeah, I think
as far as I'm concerned.
I think Jonathan Turley referred to him as a what do you call it? As a spectator instead of a judge. Because he just sat there and watched everything that he said not to do. They went and did, and didn't say a word about it.
And then when they're all done, okay, the jury leaves. Hey guys, this is going a little too far. Oh, really? Oh, well, we're done, Your Honor. Oh, okay. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Her testimony today has no intrinsic value to even if. I mean, we all know the reason that we're there is already bogus. But even if you just take it on its face, this non-disclosure agreement and paying to make this story go away, whether it was true or not, they wanted to cover it up and not let it get out and have to defend it. Her testimony today doesn't even add value to that. And that's bogus enough the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Trump as a silk pajama kind of guy walking around expecting company, the way it was described. I don't know.
Immensely prejudicial.
Yeah.
Immensely prejudicial to the jury. And that's what they wanted to achieve, and that's exactly what they did. And then he's going to act at the end like, well, let me seem like I'm the good guy here. Hey, this may have gone too far. Really? Thanks so much.
Over on CNN, they had a breakdown of the day's events. A lot of them were, I don't know if you saw some of this footage. I didn't get a chance to send any of it over, but they were very, very taken aback by the level of detail of some of the things that Stormy Daniels was talking about. This coming from CNN, who, of course, Jeffrey Toobin works for. We all know what he does. He has sex right in front of his coworkers on Zoom calls, and they keep him on the network. Here on cut number 5, CNN talking about that Trump's defense attorneys ended up destroying Stormy Daniels on the witness stand. Check it out. Here's cut 5.
really heated because Nicholas confirms you call him names all the time. And Daniel starts to sort of yell, saying yes, because he made fun of me first. I mean, this is devolving pretty quickly, right? This is pretty toddler-esque conduct and lack of accountability. But what the defense is very effectively getting at is Daniel's disdain for the defendant. So this so far has been a very effective and dramatic cross and appears to continuing to become even more dramatic. What do you think?
I think what's fascinating is the inversion of how two specific people here are reacting to everything, right? Our team in the room making very clear that Donald Trump has kind of leaned back a little bit. He was very engaged, very animated, very agitated over the course of the morning. Not so much anymore. Stormy Daniels, on the other hand, arms crossed. Things are very tense, starting to get very frustrated. And at one point, it seems raising her voice as well as Paula was reading through. It underscores there has been a very clear shift, not just in how they're acting, but tonally, but also in where this is.
Yeah.
Not one of these brain surgeons on any of these networks will actually just sit there and say, what is the point of her testimony? How does a sexual encounter that supposedly happened in 2006, how is that not totally irrelevant to whether Trump falsified business records in 2017? Oh, look at how the two people are reacting. And we are sitting here on set and trying to give you a live. I mean, it's just, oh, God.
Yeah, they also went on to talk about Stormy Daniels' testimony. Here, CNN is talking, cut 6, about her trying to tell a joke, and it's not going over. So, again, not a very good day for Stormy Daniels on the witness stand. Here's cut 6.
Jurors, Casey?
Just one thing that I've been sort of noticing as this has gone on is that there have been a couple times where she seems to be cracking a joke, trying to get a reaction from the jury, and our reporters in the room have noted that the jury hasn't seemed to respond
No, they're
to
taking
that.
their job seriously.
I mean, what do you make of that?
Humor is risky in the courtroom, especially if you go in with lines, like it looks like Stormy. If something happens spontaneously, if an easel falls over, people will laugh. They're human. But it's never going to work if you go in there like, I'm going to amuse the jury. I'm going to sort of say this clever thing.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of during the Republican debate where Chris Christie tried to make it seem like it was just a normal idea he had to say Donald Duck instead of Donald Trump. Get it? Well, it doesn't work when it's too scripted.
I mean, does anyone think the porn star coming in is going to be like a bag full of laughs? Like, I mean, she's going to have enough problem getting taken seriously anyways to start with. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we think she's going to have a lot of yucks? Is that what we're
I think she's under the delusion.
Did she say to the judge, "Do you want to gag me too?"
Yeah. I think she's under the delusion that she thinks she's a star. You know? And now this is her time to shine. So she's going to try to make the most of it. This is, and again, go back to Ammirati. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but if this what do you call it, documentary, I'm sure they're going to try and use this. This is part of what they want it for. So is she playing up for that? Trying to say, hey, I'm going to get this in the documentary. This is I'm really going to make some money now that nobody's going to know about.
And by the way, the jury's taking their job seriously. The New Yorkers are taking. They're just counting down the days to find him guilty of something. That's the only thing they're taking seriously, is making sure there's a guilty verdict. That's it. There's no one on that jury brave enough to actually listen to the facts. I'd almost guarantee it.
Yeah, still tied.
People in the chat asking me about a Thames unit. I have it. I've been wearing it. I can only buzz myself so many times for so long.
Yeah.
I do like it, but it's not been that effective in giving me any relief, at least today.
Because again, it's your hips.
Yeah, it's my pelvis really more than it is my spine.
Elvis to pelvis.
Pelvis to pelvis.
Watch, we're gonna find out Damon was shaking his hips on the driveway.
Oh,
Yep.
It's going to be a stretch for you to make the show. Yeah. Damon's stretching his back. Delgado's warming his socks. Man, this show has really gone down the tubes. Right down the tube socks. That's right, Big D. That was a good one. Right there, Big D. I'm out. Ah, man, what a show. I can't make the man laugh. Forget it. Poor guy. Unbelievable. What a shoe. Is Zia here yet? No. Zia's coming on the show. My man. We need Zia back on the show tonight. Delgado went to get that stupid weed torch. Delgado's got his weed torch. Where do you see this guy? Oh, my God. Cheech and Chong over here of landscaping. Look at this. I can't wait to see this thing.
There it is.
Oh, my God.
I told you. Look at this. It's the Inferno.
Hey, can we get a sponsor here?
$500 for big TV. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Wednesday, Tuesday night. Tuesday night?
Yeah, Tuesday. Don't get too crazy.
I shouldn't be hosting when I'm not supposed to.
Right.
No, I'm not playing with my weed whacker.
Cousin Humper's tomorrow night.
I did go get my weed burner. It's like a flamethrower. It's like a flame. I'm gonna look like Tony Stark breaking out of Afghanistan with this thing. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna burn down everything on my grass. Anyhow. Damon is walking it off because his back hurts. He'll be back in just a moment, stretching out. In the meantime, let's do some sports with Slick Rick. Slick Rick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. Make sure to take advantage of some great stuff and save yourself some money. And then, of course, send that receipt to us, proving that you used our code, and we will send you that brand spanking new LFS6B Trump white T-shirt for this month. So look forward to that. Slick, what do you got for us?
All right, well, no pun intended, but back to the scoreboard. Here we go. We have the Celtics right now leading the Cavaliers 87-75. Game one of the East semifinals. Minute and 18 to go there in the third quarter. Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, that would be, taking on OKC, the Thunder, and that game is a 9:30 p.m. tip-off. OKC favored by 4.5. That's also a game one in the Western Conference Finals. Eastern semis there, second round, game two. New York Rangers lead the series 1-0. Score is tied. Rangers forward Alexei Lafreniere with 2 goals, and we have a 2-2 tie there, Rick, and that's with 2 minutes to go in the second period. That looks like it's going to come down to the wire. And the Avalanche taking on the Dallas Stars, 9:30 p.m. puck drop. Also a Game 1. That would be the Western Conference second round as well. Major League Baseball, Tigers lead the Guardians 11-7, middle of the ninth. The Diamondbacks pounding the Reds 6-1 in the bottom of the eighth. Phillies taking care of business over the Blue Jays 8-1. The Nationals lead the Orioles 3-0, bottom eight. Rays over the White Sox 5-1. Angels lead the Pirates 7-0. That's in the middle of the seventh. The Yankees up 7-1 in the top of the sixth in the Bronx. The Braves 2-0 over the Red Sox, top six. Bottom five, Royals leading the Brewers right now, up on top of them, bottom five. And I'll get to a couple of quick stories right here. Let's get on to Mike Johnson. We talked about him in the last segment. Well, Mike Johnson, instead of working for Republicans, celebrates giant trophy being brought into Congress. This is Sean Moran of the Breitbart Sports. Speaker Mike Johnson on Tuesday celebrated the Borg-Warner Trophy for the Indianapolis 500 instead of focusing on leading Republicans. I've never been upstaged by a trophy before, Johnson said, as the trophy awarded to the winner of the Indianapolis 500 was carried in front of him. Johnson, as he celebrates the arrival of the trophy, has continued to face frustrated conservatives such as Reps Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey. Massey and Greene have sought to remove him as a speaker. I'm the most conservative member who has ever held the gavel as speaker, but the reality of our numbers is our challenge, Johnson explained to Axios. Some of my colleagues want us to throw Hail Mary passes on every play. We're not asking for that, but geez. Greene has criticized Johnson for claiming he is the most conservative speaker. She replied, most conservative except when you fund the invasion of our country, fund full-term abortion, fund the transgender, fund endless war, break the tie for warrantless spies, criminalize the New Testament, are endorsed by Democrat leadership, spend more than Nancy Pelosi, so she's really hammering him away. Massey has detailed Johnson's three betrayals, which include passing an omnibus spending bill, forcing through a surveillance reauthorization bill despite his prior support for reform, and passing nearly $100 billion in foreign aid with the no border security funding attached. Johnson complained during a press conference on Tuesday that he is not getting enough sleep these days, and he would like a couple of tickets to the Indianapolis 500. And you know what they say, everybody gets a trophy, including Mike Johnson. So just wanted to get that story in there. Of course, a sports story threw up into a political story. And, well, you know, Indy star columnist suspended after the bizarre Caitlin Clark interview. There's some weird dudes out there, like, kind of trolling her in the sports media. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart, a highly peculiar interview with women's college basketball legend and Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark has landed a reporter with the Indy Star a 2-week suspension. According to Gannett via Fox News, columnist Greg Doyle has been disciplined for his part in the interaction with Clark. Indianapolis Star reports columnist Greg Doyle will not be covering the Indiana Fever. Indy Star spokesman Lark Marie Anton told the Fox News Digital. The issues started last month when, before asking Clark a question, Doyle made the heart symbol with his hands that the former Iowa Star is known for making. Clark asked Doyle if he liked that. Doyle responded by saying, I like that you are here. Oh, bizarre. Clark remarked that she makes the sign to her family after every game. Doyle replied, start doing it to me and we'll get along. Doyle received
what a creep already.
Today, in my uniquely oafish way, while welcoming Caitlin Clark, 22, to Indy, I formed my hands into her signature hand art. He wrote, my comment afterwards was clumsy and awkward. I sincerely apologize. Please know my heart, literally and figuratively, was well-intentioned. I will do better. Doyle last wrote for the Star on April 29th. So, with all that's going on in the world, it's a lot of nonsense. But she had a good debut. Almost won that game, right? What she scored, 21 or 22? Yeah, so that was a good debut for her. I mean, not putting up 40 or 50, but in time, I think she will. I think she's going to be one of the greatest to ever play the game in the WNBA, as she was absolutely the greatest female player. As far as all around, I don't know. A lot of Pete Maravich fans want to say otherwise, and I like old Pistol Pete. He's going to always be number one in my book. And that's a wrap in sports. Back to you there.
Did she play regular season, or that was
preseason?
Yeah, it's preseason.
Yeah, it's preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I think she's going to be, she's going to have a good season.
All right, Slick. Sports is that all for sports?
That's it.
Yep.
Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell, MyPillow. LFS6B is the code. Let's do some news, and here with the news is Rick Delgado.
All right. Well, I don't know if you saw this, but RFK may have stepped in it, as there's no denying that he deserves kudos for his bold stance on the COVID vaccine. But he decided to go on the Patrick Bet David podcast, and well, he put himself on the line when he wouldn't give a really good answer to the question from PBD, where he comes out in support basically of gender reassignment surgery. Believe it or not, cut number 4. Here's RFK trying to answer this question, but not doing a very good job.
What will you do as a president to get this nonsense out to prevent kids under the age of 18, with or without the consent of the father, to transition? You may even say that is an okay policy you're a part of that many families disagree with. One, what's your position on this, and what will you do as a president?
I mean, my position is that people should not be able to have access to those procedures, that minors shouldn't, without parental permission. And, you know, I don't know enough about it, Patrick, to say that it should be completely illegal for
Under
all
18?
No. Yeah, I just don't know enough. What I'm going to tell you, well, because I don't know.
But Robert, I mean,
I don't. You know what? I don't know enough. There may be some rare cases where it saves somebody's life. I don't know that. And I'm not going to tell you that I have an answer to a question that I have not.
But Robert, there's a big difference.
Just tell you this.
I just want to say that there's a big difference between those two things. One, saving somebody's life to transition and cut the dangling off. How are you saving that person's life? Some of these things, logically, they make no sense to parents. So parents are sitting there. You're going to have to answer this for both parents on both sides.
There's conflicting values here, and one of the values is freedom. To do what you want with your own body and have the government tell you you can or you can't do that.
Who is protecting kids under the age of 18, though?
And that's the other, right? And that's why I say nobody can do it without their parents' permission. That's solid. And then I have to look at the drugs, the safety of the drugs, whether there's permanent damage from them. I just don't know. You're rolling your eyes like I shouldn't have. This is an obvious question.
Do you trust the 14-year-old driving a car?
Coward. Yeah. That's what he's rolling his eyes.
Without a driver's license?
Well,
do you trust a 13-year-old voting? What if a parent consents for the 13-year-old to vote? Should we be okay with that? Because the parent said it's okay.
Should we trust the parent that 13-year-old to vote?
I get that, but why should it be legal for somebody at 13 with parent consent to transition?
Oof.
Good point.
I mean, part of me says I don't know why anyone's surprised. He's you know, again, we've said this before.
Yeah.
You can be right. The broken clock is right twice a day.
Yep.
So he's right on two things. With the deep state and COVID. Other than that, he's a communist.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's out there with, you know, AOC on that part of town.
He's grabbing more Democratic support as he goes.
That's just a cowardly answer.
Waste of
cowardly.
Time. And hopefully a waste of Biden votes.
There's no justification. There's no way to justify it.
Man. Yeah. Harry Oates.
Hey, Harry Oates, everybody.
Harry on the highway.
Oh, no,
That's his weed whacker.
That's not my weed whacker.
What's it called?
This is a weed torch.
Weed torch.
I want a weed torch. You just blow it, you kill the weeds.
Yeah, with fire.
There he is.
David's here in the house. Harry on the highway in the house. What's going on here?
I went to watch him and. Oh, in the concrete. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, you went over to the America's First Warehouse?
Yeah, well, I had to talk to Joe, and so I went there, and then I just figured I'd watch our great David's here.
Is that great, David?
When you walk in, was he doing this? The flag?
Did you go to the city today?
But he was, yeah.
Okay.
A few tokes and
Oh, Joe?
it's crazy, yeah.
One toe
See,
over the line.
see, look, you get the weeds in the rocks and the sun in between, and underneath the roundup, I got the torch.
Is it really a torch?
You have the rocks in the brain.
Yeah.
Is it propane?
I'm gonna get the vest that has the propane tank.
Yeah, just in case we get invaded, you could.
Exactly.
You're going to be like Ghostbusters? Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
How long until he lights himself on fire? Like
Somebody said in construction they call it a hog torch.
5 minutes.
Rick, it's called a hog torch, right? Hog torch.
You are so prepared.
The hog torch.
I saw your girlfriend.
Which one? Oh, I saw her early today. Oh, yeah. Join the president and the resident. Catherine, we love her.
He was responsible of making
Good for her.
John says David must be exhausted.
Yeah, well, this guy nonstop. He's nonstop.
All right, sit quick.
He's got a Red Bull IV. Look at that. Sugar free. All the aspartame you can drink. You hear about the thing with the hog tape?
30 seconds.
My glasses are in my bag.
You got 20 seconds, Aaron.
Wanted to say
Hurry
it,
up,
I'm not gonna
Aaron.
say it.
15 seconds.
Aaron, you got to go. Go. Harry can finish it.
Oh, he's blushing.
Hi, live from Studio 6B, Hour 2. Harry on the highways in the studio, so it's all commotion here.
Yeah.
Harry, how was jury duty today? Pretty good? Well, you got done with it, so obviously now you're done, so you can stop complaining about it.
There's no way.
Is that what it is, 6 years you're done? Harry had jury duty today.
No,
he's done for 6 years.
No, he didn't. You can tell. Look at his face. He was out in the sun all day today.
Yeah, no, he did. I saw. No, he did. He almost got put on the case, and then he told them. They're like, yeah, he seems guilty to me already, and they're like, okay, you got to go.
You're out.
So he's out. So Harry's done. So David Zier's here.
Hey, what's
Zier
up, guys?
is here. David Zier, fix your microphone there so we can hear you.
Can you hear
seem
me
like,
now?
There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me now?
You sound good.
This thing on?
Do I dare ask how was your day?
Insane, but great.
Walk us through it.
Well, went into Manhattan, sat in on the Trump trial. I did the first half of the day. I gave the pass to Andrew Giuliani because we got to keep the seat warm for Rav.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to lose it in the trial.
Okay, so here, before you get into your description of the trial, let me tell you what we've been debating tonight, in hour one. So my understanding is the judge set some pretty tight guard rules on what was going to happen today, and then the prosecution basically took those guard rules and ran over them, back over them, threw them over the side of the bridge into the water, and basically told the judge, F you, we're going to do what we want. The judge allowed it all, and then the judge asked the jury to leave after it was all out there in the ether and said, well, maybe this detail we've gone a little too far. I don't buy it. For me, the judge is trying to play like the good guy. Meanwhile, he let them do exactly what he wanted them to do, which was to embarrass Trump, give all this detail that has nothing to do with the trial, has nothing to do with the 2017 agreement for a loan, supposedly to pay back Michael Cohen from 2016.
What you said.
So what's your take?
100%. I said earlier on special report today, he's the Cheshire Cat. The
judge.
Yeah, and it's easy. It's like when you build a deck on your house without a permit, it's better to ask forgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
Than to get the permit up front.
Right.
I think the whole thing is orchestrated. I am. The notion that Trump will be acquitted is a fleeting notion for me. I think this is all a setup. I think it's been obvious from the get-go. But there are so many things here. And, they want to paint the picture that Trump is a big white bully, male bully, and he's a billionaire coming down on a middle-income, poor woman.
Porn star?
Yeah, porn star, right. The prosecution had the nerve to put on this spectacle today. I was in the courtroom. I couldn't believe my ears. They asked her what clubs she participated in high school. So they're trying to demonize Trump and humanize her. And even though it's got nothing to do with anything, it's got nothing to do with illegality or illegality or whether, for any potential charge, which used to be a misdemeanor, now it's 34 felonies. But I think what they did was they gave the jury an out. They gave the jury an out to convict Trump today because, they can't just do it for no reason, and now they can say, okay, it is election interference. Trump was a monster. He's a predator. They took 11 pages out of his 600 pages of his 2 books, that he wrote after The Art of the Deal. And they took 11 pages of 600, and one of them said, if somebody hurts you, go back at them viciously and violently,
so
an eye for an eye. So they're painting him as this predator,
right?
But now they give the jury an out to basically convict Trump on these made-up felony charges, which include election interference, basically, in a way, right? So it kind of, because what were they going to do before if they weren't able to make that case that Trump is this?
But what's the out to find him guilty of him being a bully? What do you mean?
Well, I think that they'll convict him.
No, I don't.
I think they'll find him guilty on the counts, or there'll be a hung jury. But I don't think he gets acquitted. I don't think you have anybody on the jury that has the guts enough, or the. A lot of women on the jury. And by the looks of them, they're not LFS 6B viewers, I don't think,
they didn't say hi to you?
No. Trump gave me a little nod on the way out, though, because, he saw the Rav jacket and saw us there. Jason Miller came over, said hello. Boris Epstein, acknowledged Rav. So it was nice, but, man, I think they're going to steamroll through this whole thing, and I think the prosecution's going to wrap up quicker than 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, they're running out of witnesses.
Exactly. That was my point.
She was their, one of their top witnesses. It's her and Cohen. So she's done, right? Or are they going to continue with her tomorrow?
They're going to continue tomorrow.
Okay. And then Cohen's going to be next, because you got to finish strong. If you're prosecuting a case, you want to finish strong. These are your strongest people. You got to put them up there. What are you going to do for the 2 weeks after that?
Yeah.
I think it's just to keep them off the campaign trail.
And the Trump defense team, questioning her on the stand, kind of makes it look like, they're trying to bring down this woman. She was afraid. She was in fear for her life. She blacked out when she supposedly was with Trump. She wasn't in control of herself. Trump, was so intimidating and everything. And, it's a slippery slope when you're cross-examining somebody, especially a woman, and I just think that she became relatable to the average woman in America, and the press is pounced on that, and that's the story now. It's not whether or not there's any merit to the case.
Wow, I did not suspect you to say that, especially that she became relatable. Everything I saw,
yeah.
I got the feeling of just the opposite. But I mean, you were there, so that's why I wanted to know what you thought.
Well, she had a very succinct account of what she claims happened, not just for that event.
Don't most people know, though, that she signed these 2 letters over the last year saying it didn't never happen?
But she goes into detail about, the Beverly, I think the Beverly Hilton subsequent visits, her visit to Trump Tower after this supposed event, that Trump was trying to get her on The Apprentice. She goes into a pretty explicit detail of the history of this, whether or not Trump had relations with her or not. Her story has some, I don't want to say credibility to it, but she wasn't that bad on the stand.
And the clips we played from CNN, they kind of said, Trump had a good day because she didn't come off well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that, it was obvious, that she went into stripping at 17 for money. She became a porn star at 23. She was a writer for adult movies. And I'm like, I wonder what that script is. Oh, plumber, pizza delivery, It's
you with the pizza again.
What do you write? But, that kind of probably didn't sit well with people. But she talked about a broken childhood. She talked about her parents getting divorced at 4. She talked about her mother possibly being a drug addict. She was like a disenfranchised woman.
What does any of this have to do with the 2017 agreement?
It does in the public's eye.
In the public, but David, the public's not watching this trial.
I don't know.
They didn't see any of that. We didn't hear about any of that.
Well, I did in the New York Times. The New York Times came out right away, and Maggie Haberman was saying the same things that I'm saying. So, I'm just saying, I don't think it was a total loss for the prosecution today.
All right. I mean, that's very interesting. Because, like you said, we played a couple clips from CNN, and they're not, they're expert legal minds,
right?
We're pretty much on the saying the opposite.
There were credibility problems, like when she talks about the parking lot, 2011, a man came up and intimidated her and everything. But they're laying that groundwork. The whole day was shaped around Trump being this manipulating guy who basically entrapped her, and she couldn't fight it, and then I thought in some ways it was damaging to Trump. I really did. And I felt bad when I left because he doesn't need this. And he's not out campaigning like he should be.
No.
I mean, 30 minutes ago, just to give you an example of, I guess, the difference in being in the courtroom and not being in the courtroom, Geraldo Rivera, who I think we can all safely say is not going to be
reputable.
Not going to be on the said sexploitation smears today aside, the prosecution hasn't laid a glove on Trump. There is a reason no other prosecutor would take this case. That's from Geraldo Rivera 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So very interesting, the difference between being in there.
You think that he's going to get a dozen jurors to acquit him in New York City?
You only need one.
Yeah.
I mean, you only need one.
That's true.
But it's just interesting, the perception of what people are taking, like what you took out of being in there and what the media is taking from, and what people who are not in there,
well,
who I guess are getting whatever information from whoever are coming up with.
The whole thing was ugly. It was just ugly. And we shouldn't be here. The whole thing shouldn't be taking place. But this is what they did. It's a if you look, so I'm online with the media waiting to get in, and I've been down there for several weeks off and on, and I talk to other people in the media there, and there's not many people like Rav, who can be discriminating and look at the whole thing, from 1,000-foot view. They're looking at it through a soda straw. Trump broke the law, so he's got to be persecuted. He's got to be prosecuted, And then the docs case. I was talking to some guy this morning from an organization called Lawfare, so I thought maybe he was on my side, But no, it's like, Trump broke the law. It's clear. Jack Smith's got a rock-solid case. And I'm like, well, what about Joe Biden, who wasn't allowed to take anything home? Like, you don't care? And he couldn't answer it.
Well, that guy's having a bad day after Judge Cannon today. Did you get back with him at the end of the day?
No, but I think the media is celebrating. I think they're celebrating. I think the mainstream media just sees this as, just more of their election interference.
Well, keep in mind that, let's face it, they love this stuff because without Trump, they have nothing, right? They love the fact that he's running. They love the fact that he's on trial. They love anything Trump. They just can't stand that they love him. It's the craziest thing when you stop and think about it because they make so much money. Basically, they've evolved into Trump Central, basically 24/7, because that's all they're going to talk about now.
Ed,
I just hope, I was waiting for like a Perry Mason moment or something where, the Trump team would come up with something that would like knock this all out and everything. And just asking for the mistrial wasn't good enough. So
well, they weren't going to get that.
No,
but you have to ask.
Yeah, and the judge, I felt yesterday was very unfair to the Trump team. I think today he did sustain some of the objections that were there, but he knew that what was going to happen on that stand, and you're right on about that. Yeah. The judge knew.
No. All right, hour two coming up live from Studio 6B Sports News. David Zier. We'll continue right after this.
thought she was a pole vaulter.
She has a background. She has like award-winning horses now and stuff. But she's big in equestrian. Yeah.
She loves horses.
You can't ride a horse, ride a cowboy, right?
That's why Trump would call her horse face.
Oh.
That game is over. Austin up one.
Yeah, that's
Because Sharp's on the immunity side. The immunity
that's gonna be
case.
a whole lot of.
I don't know if he's sitting in with them inside.
Oh, be awesome. Be awesome if it's both. Oh my God!
I saw
Could you imagine?
Bovey
Each night the garden.
and
man.
Todd Blanche. And
That would be one for the ages if you think about it, right? That's old school, man. It's like Bobby Orr and Havlicek
good,
and
right? I've said this for, I can't tell you how
Jean
long I've said
Rattel and Walt Kachuk.
this.
Remember those names?
I think Bovey's better than.
Eddie
I really
Giacomo.
don't.
David, look here for 1 second, please.
Raj Gilbert, he was.
I just,
I never liked the Rangers. They're a great organization.
You have one read here tonight.
Always liked the.
What was that?
No, a lot of Ranger fans in Bush. I actually liked the Flyers for a couple of years. I was a kid.
You just admit that
I
now?
mean,
Yeah.
they put
75. Then I left the Flyers. I went to the Islanders in 75. It's a long time ago. 75. Geez, almost 50 years ago.
I was reading this story about when they beat the shit out of the Soviets.
Oh my
Soviets didn't
God.
even want to play it anymore.
That was what, 72?
No, I think it was like 76 or something, right?
Fred Shiro was the coach. I think.
And Soviets were doing a tour. And then
Yeah, they came off the ice. They
all like, tried to just play.
it was lot.
And the Broad Street bullies were like, no.
Their goalie was Tretiak. Tretiak was some goalie. Vladislav Tretiak, a great goalie.
They beat the crap out of them.
Helmut Balderas. They had some good players. Yeah, maybe it was 76. Phil Esposito, I think, was on that Canadian team. Yeah. Bobby Clark. Had some good players. Gila Fleur played. I know Gila Fleur was Canada. Those were great. Those games. I think they played in the Garden too. This game.
well, that's the thing.
Man, 23-point lead. Huh? Rough night for the Cleveland. But what could you expect? They came off a very emotional Game 7.
Well, everybody knows the next medical crisis is just around the corner, whether it comes in the form of a pandemic again or something much more mundane like a tick bite. You and your family need to be prepared. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. We've had their great doctors, Dr. Peter McCullough, on the show before. The Wellness Company and their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust, and their new medical emergency kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Be ready for anything. This medical emergency kit contains an assortment of life-saving medications, including ivermectin and Z-Pak. The medical emergency kit provides a guidebook to aid in the safe use of all these life-saving medications, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Rest assured knowing that you have emergency antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics on hand to help keep you and your family safe from whatever the globalists throw at us next. Here's what you do. Go to www.twc.health/voice. That's twc.health/voice today and order your kits. That's twc.health/voice. And then you can use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. Go see our friends at the Wellness Company. 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Let's do some sports. Sports is sponsored by MyPillow. Use our code LFS6B as our promo code. Use it at checkout. It'll save you up to 66% off some of the great stuff that Mike has over at My Pillow. Slick Rick, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, looks like it's all over in Boston. 120-95. The Celtics are closing out the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Yeah.
Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, 33 tonight to lead all scorers.
That's probably about as close as they're going to get in
32.
the series, between 20 and 25 each game, I would think. Maybe at home they'll keep it within double digits, 10 to 15, but this is a 4-0 sweep.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, when Jaylen Brown's getting 30, actually 32, check that. They're looking really good. And the Knicks are up 1-0, too, against Indiana. So who knows, Big D? We might get a Boston Knicks game, garden to garden.
Yeah.
Before the for the conference finals.
What game do you want to go to? You'll wear your
Sixers.
I want to sit next to
Sixers.
Spike Lee. I want to outdress him a little. Come on. I'll go to the Garden game. I'll go to Game 7 when Boston's going to take care of business against these guys. They're destined for an NBA title, I think, this year. That's unless Minnesota has something to say about it. And with Mavs and Thunder coming up at 9:30, that's a tip-off, and that'll be the Western Conference Game 1 semifinals as well. Some good series is coming up. And in the Garden right now, Hurricanes lead the Rangers 3-2 in a close game, East second round. So that's Game 2. Rangers leading that series 1-0. Canes looking to tie it all up. So 14 minutes to go in the third. We'll have one more update. That game will probably just about be ending when we close out the show at 9:50 or so Eastern time. Stars and Avalanche. That's going to be another good one. Dallas. Hope I could stay up for that one. 9:30 in the American Airlines Arena. That is also a Game 1 of the series. That's actually Game 1 there. That's the first start of that series. So good stuff there. Major League Baseball. Angels blanking the Pirates 9-0. End of 8. Bottom 7. Yankees slamming the Astros 10-1. Braves and Red Sox in a good one, tied at 2. Bottom 7. Mid 7 Royals over the Brewers 4-3 in KC. Cubs lead the Padres 1-0. Bottom 6. Also bottom 6 Twins over the Mariners 4-2. Mets leading the Cardinals 6-3. Bottom 5. And top of the third, Giants and Rockies no score. Earlier tonight, Rangers over the Athletics 15-8. Tigers down the Guardians 11-7. Diamondbacks closed out the Reds 6-2. Phillies slammed the Blue Jays 10-1. Nationals blanked the Orioles 3-0. Rays over the White Sox 5-1. Marlins and Dodgers out in LA 10-10 first pitch. Well, let's see. We get to a couple of stories real quick here. Let me get. I got a good story here. Hold on 1 second here. I seem to lose these guys. My apologies. Get the Fox News.
You want us to come back to you,
No,
Slick?
Big D. Former tennis relax. Take a chill. Former tennis prodigy Kylie McKenzie awarded $9 million in sexual assault lawsuit against United States Tennis Association. McKenzie claimed that her USTA coach assaulted her at an Orlando facility. This is Fox News reporting. Once a tennis prodigy, Kylie McKenzie, I remember, is being awarded $9 million in a federal lawsuit against the United States Tennis Association, where she claimed the organization did not protect her from being sexually assaulted by her former coach at a training facility in Florida in 2018, per The Athletic. Annabelle Aranda, then 34 years old, was Mackenzie's coach when she was 19-year-old prodigy out of Arizona. Mackenzie claimed in a 2022 lawsuit that Aranda was assaulted her on a backcourt at the USTA's Orlando training facility. Mackenzie stated that the USTA failed to disclose that Aranda assaulted a former employee years ago before her own assault. Mackenzie's lawsuit was filed after the U.S. Supreme Court Center for Safe Sport found Aranda more likely than not touched her vagina over her clothes and groped her during the process of showing her a serving technique in 2018, per the New York Times. Since the assault, Mackenzie said she suffered from panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. Mackenzie was awarded $3 million in compensatory damages and $6 million in punitive damages after a jury determined there was a conscious disregard for the rights and safety of others, given in her part attempts by the USTA to keep Mackenzie's case quiet, per The Athletic. Boy, never sweep this stuff under the rug, I tell you that. I feel validated. McKenzie, who was still trying to pursue a career in tennis, told The Athletic on Monday it was very hard, but I feel that it was all worth it. I hope I can be an example for other girls to speak out even when it is very hard. USTA spokesman Chris Wildermeyer said his organization will pursue all avenues of appeal in a statement that included sympathy for McKenzie. The court ruled that the USTA was liable because one of its employees, a non-athlete, had an obligation to report her own experience with the coach to the USTA, an incident that was unknown until after the USTA removed the coach. Just sounds like they didn't follow follow their protocols, Big D. But, well, Kylie McKenzie, she got $9 million, but I'm sure that the money really isn't worth it when you go through something like that, and it sticks with you forever. So, and that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
All right, Slick. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Let's do some news, and here with that is Rick Delgado. News is brought to you by our friends at 7 Cells. 7cells.com, 10% off if you use our code LFS6B at checkout. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, it turns out the New York Governor Kathy Hochul was at the Milken Institute talking about computer education in the Bronx, New York, that is, and decided to be a complete and total racist here with cut number 1, as she tells everybody that black kids don't know what computers are or what the word means. Here's cut number 1.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
Yeah, broader challenge would be you not sticking your foot in your mouth and exposing how much of a racist you really are.
I mean, that's as bad as some of the Biden ones. Remember?
Yeah.
Young white kids and black kids, or what? Remember all that?
Yeah, just as smart as white kids.
Yeah, he had
That's
a
what it
bunch of
sounds
them.
like.
I mean, she's been watching Biden tapes. Maybe she's been watching some Crazy Towns. Who knows? Come up with that one. What the hell she done? Oh my God.
Well, she told that to an audience, and now she is apologizing after saying there are black kids in the Bronx who don't know what the word computer means. Hochul made the remarks during the address at the Milken Institute in L.A. Now,
you won't find her at the Mensa meeting, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Her remarks were intended to generate publicity for the state's $400 million Empire AI initiative, funding artificial intelligence, basically revealing she has no real intelligence, so she's got to rely on the artificial stuff. The governor is focused on expanding access to training on cutting-edge technology to children in low-income areas, like black kids who don't know what the word computer means, according to her. She wants the world to open up. It's deeply disturbing, her recent remarks, and the underlying perception that she has of black and brown children. This coming from New York State Assembly member Karine Reyes. Our children are bright, brilliant, extremely capable, and far more deserving of any opportunities that are extended to other kids to do better. So as you can tell, Hochul is now apologizing. She says she misspoke, and she regrets the mistake.
Sure. Move on. Nothing to see here.
She's immortal.
All right, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More news. David Zier, Rick Delgado coming up. Hey, Aaron, can you put my screen up so I can show the people who are asking about X?
X? You're on X?
So when you go to watch the show on X, folks, if you click up here where it says the name, Studio 6B, you're just going to get the video with no chat. And that's what I think some of you are doing. If you go down to the actual title down here, and you click on the title right next to the yellow check mark, then you'll get the chat over here on the right side. Okay, so I think that's the mistake some people are making. It's not really honestly set up. It's not really the best setup, because a lot of people click on tweets. They click on where you type up here.
Right.
But for live videos, you have to actually click right here by the yellow mark on the title to get to the chat. So you have to click right here, and that'll bring you to the chat. If you click up here, that's just going to open up the video like a regular tweet, like to there. And you're not going to be able to see the chat. You got to click by the yellow check mark, and then you get the chat over here on the right. So just to clear that up. What?
I'm confused. I thought I
want to get on a plane.
Good.
Just golf cookies.
And if you're on your phone, it depends on what you have, because it's not working on mine.
Okay.
It never
like
has.
now I'm seeing, I think I'm, by clicking that, like you said, it just takes me to a larger version of what we're seeing, the thumbnail. But before, when I had the, when you get the notification, when you click on the notification, it took you right to it.
I'll try it on my phone right now. I don't think I've tried it on the phone.
I can launch the video and I can play that full screen and everything, but I don't have chat. It gives me an arrow to send a chat, but it doesn't even give me a box to type it into. Very strange.
Like, I'm in the chat right now by doing the opposite of what you said.
I don't see the chat on my phone.
Oh, Twixers, don't worry about your chat. There's plenty of room for everybody. Yeah, I got the chat on my phone, too.
You just said you couldn't find it.
No, I couldn't find it following your directions. Your directions stink.
Thank you
My
very
direction's much better.
What's your directions?
My direction, I went back to the notification.
Delgado.
You know, when you get the notification, you click the notification, it takes you right there.
Whoa, the chat's getting.
Why don't you go blow your socks in the bath?
I love blowing my socks.
Yeah.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We have mass confusion here, trying to figure out all our social media, but whatever. So
hard to find.
Yeah. 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. What are we doing? We're doing news.
Yeah.
We're doing news with Rick Delgado. Then we're going to do news with David Zier. But we'll start with Rick Delgado. News brought to you by 7 Cells, 7cells.com. Check them out. Use our code LFS6B at checkout. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, Joe Biden was on the campaign trail, and I guess he was talking about taxes.
He was.
And decided to, again, you know what? You don't really have to do much. You just wind him up and let him go, and he will totally destroy himself. Here's cut number 2. Here's Joe Biden talking about the Trump tax cuts and how they're going to expire. And if you vote for him, he's got a surprise for you. Cut number 2. Check this out.
By the way, how many of you did really well with that $1.9 trillion tax cut that increased? Really good shape, right? Really changed your. Well, you did. Well, that's good. I'm glad to see you're doing well already, and I'm good. But guess what? If you elect me, you're not going to have your taxes are going to be raised, not cut. If you benefit from that.
I mean, that's an amazing strategy. I have to tell you, that is really an amazing strategy to go out there and say that to even people you think like you. That is one hell of an amazing strategy to people who can't afford food, can't afford gas, can't afford heat, can't afford to pay their mortgage, credit card. I saw this today. Here's Bidenomics in one chart. Here it is right here. If you had to put it in one chart, credit card total debt versus savings rate. Take a guess which one is which. Oh, yes, the red would be the credit cards. The green would be the savings. So there's your Bidenomics in one chart. And this is this guy out there saying, well, your taxes aren't going to get cut with me. They're going to get raised. People can't – the credit cards are maxed out, can't afford anything. Inflation, the most insidious tax there is eating them alive. Wall Street Journal reports today that 66% of new audits were for people making under $200,000. So he's full of it with this $400,000 nonsense that he's like protecting the middle class and all this stuff. So it's just total, utter bogus. But that's an interesting strategy if people fall for that. If people find that, if that hits home with you and you think, God, this is my guy, I'm not really sure what to tell you.
Yeah, from CNBC, this story, this headline, why hundreds of U.S. banks may be at risk of failure. You heard that correct. Hundreds of small and regional banks across the U.S. are feeling stressed right now.
Well, sure.
You can see some of those banks either fail or at least, dip below their minimum capital requirements. This, according to Christopher Wolf, managing director and head of North American banks at Fitch Ratings. He told CNBC. Consulting firm Claros Group analyzed 4,000 U.S. banks and found 282 banks face a dual threat of commercial real estate loans, something David would know about, and potential losses tied to higher interest rate.
Well, yeah. When you take everybody's money and put it in at 0%, and you think, oh, yeah, this is great. It was 0%, and then all of a sudden it's 5.5%. people want their money back, guess what? You're underwater.
Yeah. The majority of those banks are smaller lenders with less than $10 billion in assets. Most of these banks, according to Brian Graham, co-founder of the Claros Group, aren't insolvent or even close to insolvent. They're just stressed. That means there'll be fewer bank failures, but it doesn't mean that communities and customers don't get hurt by that stress. He noted that communities would likely be affected in ways that are more subtle than closures and failures, but by banks choosing not to invest in such things as new branches, technology, or new staff, that would add to the problem. For individuals and consequence of small bank failures, those are more indirect. Directly, there's no consequence if they're below the deposit limits, which are $250,000. If a failing bank is insured by the FDIC, all depositors will be paid up to at least $250,000 per depositor. And then, of course, this posted by Wall Street Apes on X, extremely alarming, titles it The Downfall of the U.S. Economy. Dollar Tree closing 600 stores this year. CVS closing 900 stores this year. Walgreens closing 150 stores this year. Outback already closed 40 restaurants. UPS cutting 12,000 jobs for the year. Citigroup cutting more than 20,000 positions. eBay, thousands of jobs lost there. Microsoft cutting 1,900 positions. Expedia cutting 1,500. Cisco, 4,000 positions. Apple cutting 600. Regal Cinemas closing 429 cinemas. Wow. Kroger Grocery shutting down stores to the tune of 413. Foot Locker closing 400 stores by the year 2026, as well as Macy's will close another 150 locations by 2026.
You know, it's $21 a ticket for an IMAX movie now.
Yep.
And if you're a senior, they only take $1 off now.
It's become unsustainable because of the economy and also the internet. Killed the Foot Lockers and stuff. Really, it's a shame. Great store.
Yeah, it's killing everybody across the board.
Theaters, everything.
And there you have the president saying, vote for me, your taxes are going to go up.
Yeah, Foot Locker got robbed in a storefront robbery about 5 weeks ago in Manhattan.
That's another problem. They're getting robbed a lot of these places. Just not worth it.
And when you see some of the brazen acts, I mean, we have one, this one from the other day. Yeah, this is cut number 9, where this dude steals over 40 iPhones. The irony is, watch what happens when he walks out of the store. This is cut number 9. Check this out. You want to talk about why things are, prices are higher and such? This would be one of those reasons. Now you know how Apple stores are set up. Very nice, minimal,
easy to
clutter.
steal.
Everything's supposed to be, secured with those wires. He's just ripping them out, putting them in his pockets. Nobody does a damn thing. And he just keeps going, row by row. No security. Right there. Now you're gonna walk out the door.
Man,
look at the car he walks right past. That's a police cruiser.
Wow. What a bunch of phonies.
What city was that?
I don't even know. It looked like San Francisco, but it could have been
the Berkeley area.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Berkeley?
In the Berkeley area.
So it was the Bay Area.
Yeah, that was a ghost car. That's put there to help deter crime. There's no officers.
Working well.
I don't think it worked.
Car 54, where are you?
They did end up catching the guy.
We have a cop car on Long Island here that had a dummy in it. Remember that in East Hampton?
No. Really?
Yeah.
They parked it there with a...
Delgado, you were a cop out there?
Yeah, Delgado, I didn't know you camped out over there.
Yeah, I hung out. I didn't write any tickets, though.
Okay.
No.
So there you have it.
All right, we'll do some more news.
And I got one quick line to finish. Tika 65, thank you. The torch looks amazing. I can't wait to fire it up.
Can't wait to light himself on fire.
Yes.
All right, we'll do some more news with Delgado before the end of the show. Let's do a little news with the man who was in Manhattan today. And, of course, the host of Breaking Point, that would be Mr. David Zier. You also did some other things today, too. Didn't you do an interview or something today?
Yeah, I did a 1-hour special, which I'll be airing as the Breaking Point episode on Saturday and sharing it with social media and sharing clips with you guys with Professor Nick Giordano. You know him from Gutfeld and other shows. He's a professor at Suffolk Community College here, but he's also host of PAS Report. He's got Alan Dershowitz on Monday. We talked about our college campuses under siege around America and the reasons for it, who's behind it, who's funding it, why we are where we are in the school system. And he talks about, the leadership at the schools. He talks about outside funding from the billionaires, the Pritzkers, the Bill Gates type crowd, the homogenous tents and signs printed in the, print shop, thousands of miles apart from each other. They got the same tents, these protests. So it was very informative. He's great. We talked about the origins, of Hamas and Hezbollah and how these people don't understand their history. So people are being exploited. Some people know what they're doing. And there's field marshals putting this all in effect around the country. Some of the faculty's in on it. The Generation Zero from Steve Bannon, movie made in 2010. What led to this counterculture movement in the United States, and how the post-World War II generation spoiled the kids so much they became the hippies in the 60s and 70s. They became running, they ran Wall Street. Now they're running the government, and then these other guys became professors in these colleges, uber liberal. So it's really special. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be sharing clips with you. So I just wanted to let you know. Very sharp guy, Nick Giordano.
All right. Anything else in the news that you caught your attention that you want to go over?
Oh, my God.
I know you're busy all day. But...
Crazy protester in Collect Pond Park across from the trial today. It's where that guy lit himself on fire. There were some Trump supporters and some anti-Israel protesters over the past few weeks, but today it was relatively quiet. But a guy was an anti-Trump protester, and the cops arrested him. And he was screaming that he was being, hurt, abused, whatever. And but he wasn't, and he was making a big scene. But I just wanted to share with the chat audience here, I'm MAGA through and through. I love Donald Trump. I've been following Donald Trump for 5.5 years on the road with Rav, and I'm a donor. And I hate what I'm seeing, and I'm just giving you guys, my perspective, because I'm worried. I'm very worried. They're going to do whatever the hell they want on the left. And it's just a matter of whether we can overcome it. I don't know. So that's it.
All right. Very good. Well, listen, you were there. I don't think you have to defend your position. Everybody knows where you stand. I mean, you're there taking it in. So
I left upset. And I saw Trump. Trump was stressed at the end. He came in a good mood. But how could he not be stressed out by all this, So
yeah. All right, very good. We'll do some more news with Delgado and see if David Zier has anything else before the end of the show. I saw this come out tonight in the New York Post. Biden's Iran envoy put classified documents on a hacked personal email phone. GOP lawmakers tonight have uncovered. Republican lawmakers have uncovered troubling allegations that President Biden's suspended special envoy to Iran, Robert Malley, stored classified material on his personal email account and cell phone, which was later accessed by a hostile cyber actor. The top Republicans on the Senate Foreign Relations and House Foreign Affairs Committee on Monday asked the State Department to confirm the allegations against Malley, who was quietly placed on unpaid leave last June and had his security clearance suspended amid a State Department investigation reportedly centered on his potential mishandling of classified information. The State Department has refused to reveal the exact nature of the allegations against Malley. Leading Senate Foreign Relations Committee ranking member James Risch from Idaho and House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul from Texas to launch their own investigation into Biden's top diplomat for Iran. Due to the department's evasiveness and lack of transparency, we have worked to glean information from other sources, McCaul wrote in a letter to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, obtained by the Washington Post. Our own investigations have uncovered the following information and troubling allegations. We ask you to confirm the information that we have learned. Specifically, we understand Mr. Malley's security clearance was suspended because he allegedly transferred classified documents to his personal email account and downloaded these documents to his personal cell phone.
Where's the raid?
Biden's administration full of Iran sympathizers and spies.
It's a good game. Tight. Oof. Oh, there. Is this the OKC? That's already a barn burner. 5-5.
Did you call?
Take care, Harry.
Is that game over?
That game's it's over. Look at this. Oof. That was a power play. Chris Kreider. Yeah, Kreider's good. It's a good line. You know, it's good Fox. He's look at this. This is a good. This game. I think this is could be. Rangers win this game. It's going to be a. Look at this. Whoa, nice move. Who's that? Panera Bread. He's a good player.
Nothing like playoff hockey.
No, it's better than anything. NBA last 30 seconds when it's tied is good. That's good stuff too. But NHL is nothing like NHL overtime. I was at so many of those Great Islander games in overtime when they won the cup in the early '80s. You walked out of there, it was like an out of body experience. It was incredible. Being a kid was just oh God, watching these games. I'm glad I was a kid then. I would have died of a cardiac arrest in watching these games now. Whoa. Two good goalies, too. Shesterkin and Anderson. Yeah, two really good goalies. Oh, they're going to ring. Oh. I'll tell you, you got to give it to the Garden. No, that's a great place to watch a hockey game. That place rocks. Who are they louder for, the Rangers or the Knicks? I think they're still louder for the Rangers. This is the 30th anniversary for the Rangers, too. 1994. Whoa, hello.
Bad turnover and penalty.
Oh, my God. That is a bad penalty.
Yep. Here you go, boys. Finish it off right now. 2 minutes.
Tough call, man. The game's over because the Rangers got one of the best power plays in the league. I think they're number 2 or 3 in the league.
You're getting scolded on Twitter for watching the game and not being in the chat.
Oh, you know what? We'll just go to commercial now. That's it.
Being scolded on Twitter?
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
Twix.
Delgado, why don't you show him your blowtorch?
Yeah, show me my torch.
Okay, I got to go back to the show.
Your
Thank
hot
you.
stuff. Your
Bye.
hot stuff, Delgado.
Look at that thing.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. If Friday's What Even Is That ain't funny, I'm going to fire this thing up right now.
Delgado's going to get fired.
In studio and use it on Delgado.
Yeah.
The old weed smacker.
Yeah.
The weed inferno. There
Wow.
it
That
is.
thing is off. More power. Look at that. 500,000 BTUs. Oh. Can't wait to fire this thing
Did
up.
you say 500,000
Yeah,
BTUs?
that's what it says.
Yeah, he thinks he's the
That's a lot.
Terminator.
I'm gonna be like
Duraflame Delgado.
I'm gonna be like Tony Stark out
We
there.
got another name for him. Duraflame Delgado.
I just built a sewage treatment plant for 72 houses that was about that many BTUs.
Oh, man.
Let's do
Where, in
some
Flushing?
more. Let's do
No.
Let's do a little more sports and news before we wrap it up for a Tuesday night. Slickster, what's going on in
Well,
sports?
back to the scoreboard. We got a barn burner in the Garden in Manhattan here. The Rangers and Hurricanes tied at 3, a minute 38 to go. Rangers on the power play here.
Save
Whoa.
the shorthander
Good
right there.
Lord, they almost lost that one right there. And we got the Avalanche and the Stars coming up at 9:30 out in, down in Dallas there. And we got, let's see what else we got going on? NBA action. Well, yeah, the Celtics took a commanding 1-0 lead there. 120-95 over the Cavaliers after a dominating win. They won by 25. Celtics star Jaylen Brown with 32 points tonight. And the Thunder and Mavs just underway, 12-10 with 6 minutes to go in the first. That's also a game 1 in the Western semifinal. So we had a game 1 in the East and the West tonight. And the Knicks will be going at it with Indiana. Game 2 tomorrow night, I believe. We'll probably be on the show talking about that. Major League Baseball, I gave you the scores earlier. We're not going to get back into that. Let's see. We're going to go to a quick story here. I kind of like this story. It's always good to get a heartwarming one. Lions rookie Ennis Rakestraw Jr. makes good on childhood promise to grade school teacher. The Lions drafted Rakestraw in the second round last month. This is Chance Martin of Fox News. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. was born in Texas and grew up outside of Dallas. He then rose to stardom during his standout run as a defensive back for the Missouri Tigers. Last month, the Detroit Lions selected him in the second round of the NFL draft. When Rakestraw received the phone call from the Lions, not only did it turn his lifelong dream into a reality, it also meant that he would be able to make good on a childhood promise. When Rakestraw was in fourth grade, he wrote a letter to his teacher, Mr. Gammon, saying, "I hope you are alive because if I make it to a professional football player, I will talk about you." Pretty cool. Dear Mr. Gammon, you are the best teacher ever. You always had and have my back, and you give me confidence. When my little brother had a seizure, you gave me food and snacks. I wish I didn't have to leave you, but I have to. But I hope you come and see me at Daniel, please. Come see me. I hope to you miss me like I miss you. And he's a fourth grader writing here. I hope you are alive because if I make it to a professional football player, I will talk about you, Mr. Gammon. Please give me your phone number and before I go. Rakestraw's former elementary school teacher caught wind of Rakestraw's post and responded by expressing the great pride he has in the NFL rookie. Gammon also joked about how he threw multiple touchdowns against Rakestraw during recess. You put it out there at 10 years old and made it happen. I have no words for how proud I am of you. Also, I'm telling everyone I played with and against you and threw multiple touchdowns to you and on you. Yes, it was recess, but it's technically true. Again, so proud. Rakestraw finished his college football career with 107 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. So nice to see this young man go to the Lions, make good to his teacher by promising to mention him. I love those kind of stories. And I'm going to close it with that. Big D, back to you as we watch the end of this Rangers game against the Hurricanes.
All right, Slick Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell and MyPillow. LFS6B is the code to use at checkout. Shirt of the month still going out this month. Brand new one, brand new Trump 2024 shirts. We're going to try to do a new one each month until the election. Trump 2024 shirt you'll get for free. As a bonus for using our LFS6B code, you can send your receipts to lfs6b at yahoo.com, lfs6b at yahoo.com. Let's do some more news. Rick Delgado news is brought to you by 7 Cells, SEVENCELLS. Spell it out, 7cells.com. Great stuff for your health. They've got weight loss stuff there now as well. It's peptides, this brand new cutting edge peptide, and I don't think it's Ozempic. Some people say it's Ozempic. I don't think it's exactly the same because I don't think that's great for you. But check them out. Either way, do your research. 7cells.com. Our code LFS6B will save you 10%. What's going on?
All right. Well, this story kind of caught my surprise. I don't know if you saw this. The Trudeau regime up north in Canada has introduced an Orwellian new law called the Online Harms Bill.
That sounds
Damon.
great. What could go wrong?
C-63, which will give police the power to retroactively search the internet for hate speech violations and arrest offenders, even if the offense occurred before the new law existed.
Sure.
Yeah, well, why not? Just go back and, just create a law and then start going back in time and arresting people for it. This new bill is aimed at safeguarding children from so-called hate speech. According to Revolver, the real shocker in this bill is the alarming retroactive aspect. Essentially, whatever you said in the past can now be weaponized against you by today's draconian standards. Historian Dr. Muriel Blave has weighed in on the draconian law, labeling it outright mad. She points out how it literally spits in the face of all Western legal traditions, especially the one about only being punished if you infringed on a law that was valid at the time of committing the crime. It's kind of insane. It won't protect you. It says, according to this, although that won't protect you from another clause in the bill, and this is where it trips over into yet an unimagined dystopian territory. If the courts believe you are likely to commit a hate crime, or disseminate hate propaganda, you can be placed under house arrest. This is wonderful. So they can just decide, hey, you know what? You look like the type of person that might say something mean, or you might be planning somewhere down the road in your future to say something mean. We're going to arrest you and put you under house arrest and restrict your ability to communicate with others. That is, a court can force you to wear an ankle bracelet, prevent you from using any communication devices, then instruct you not to leave your house if the court believes that you are a risk, that you may get drunk or get high or start tweeting under the influence. Although it's unclear, given you can't use your phone or PC, if you can order to submit to regular urine samples to the authorities. Anyone who refuses to comply with these dictates can be sent to prison. How crazy is that? And it's all coming from your friendly neighborhood Canadian communists.
Sounds like a real world of imagination up there.
So, good stuff.
Let's hear from the former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. Well, let's hear from him. You'd actually have to send the audio, Damon, to the actual board.
Character is too important to me. And it's a job that requires the kind of character that he just doesn't have. Having said that, I really disagree with Biden on policy. I wrote in a Republican the last time. I'm going to write in a Republican this time.
You're going to write in a Republican?
I don't know who yet.
So
what a loser.
Now, well, if the RNC had any guts, they would make a public. They would come out in public and say Paul Ryan is not allowed to come to the damn convention.
Yeah.
Who needs him there? Just suspend his ass. Tell him he's not welcome. These losers are not welcome. If you want to write in somebody, go to Chicago and become a big deal there. Do all your media time there. Go to Chicago and do that one. Stay the hell away from ours.
But there are elements in the RNC that agree with Paul Ryan. That's a problem.
Well, then they should be suspended from there too.
That's a big problem.
Sick of losers.
Yeah, those people are called Democrats.
Sick of weak, empty suit, gold-plated, phony losers in this party.
I've argued with high-ranking RNC guys in the past that hated MAGA people. So,
well, let's start naming them.
Yeah.
Let's start naming them. I don't mean you right now. I just mean it's just enough. The gloves have got to come off.
Throw one out there, Dave.
At some,
I don't care.
They have contempt. They got contempt.
You know what? Text it to me and I'll say it. How about that?
All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines, all emergency personnel, truckers, farmers, everybody that keeps the country moving. Thanks, everybody on the show. Aaron Frank, great job as always. We will see you tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. See you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here live from Studio 6B.